Hey everyone, welcome to hok'stutoring. Hope you're having a great day. Today we are doing question 4 of chapter 9F. So this is your related rates topic of your differential equation chapter, and this question many students have asked me past and present. So I just want to make a video on it so that you guys don't have to struggle through and not be able to answer this when you're doing a textbook exercise. So let's have a look. Question 4. A cylindrical tank is lying on its side right here. The tank has a hole in the top over here and another in the bottom over here, which really that's kind of a hole here. And so that the water in the tank leaks out. Okay, so the water is just flowing out. There's no inflow. So this hole at the top here is actually quite irrelevant. The depth of water is x meter at time t minutes and dx dt. So x is your depth, the height pretty much, and the rate of increase, or actually here negative, so decrease of your height is negative 0.025 root x over a. So a is your surface area of water at time t minutes. So a is this rectangle right here. If you look at this, over time your volume is going to decrease and then your rectangle becomes smaller because this is in the center, the diameter here, that's when your surface area is biggest. But then over time, your width starts to decrease. If you look at here, it actually gets smaller, okay? So it gets smaller there, and then eventually it becomes empty. You won't have any more surface area. In this video, guys, I'm just going to be doing part A because part B and C is quite repetitive. You've been doing it. I'm sure you don't need help with part B and C. So let's do part A. If you do need help with part B and C, just let me know. I'll just make a part 2 video on this. But part A is the pressing concern. So construct the differential equation expressing dx dt as a function of x only. So in that case, we want to express this, the same dx dt here, but only in terms of x, so no more a. So what that means is we need to find a in terms of x. So we need to find a in terms of x, okay? That's the question. What is that equals to? So we're going to take a look at our rectangle, right? So that's a, the surface area. And the surface area, or the area of a rectangle, is length multiplied by width. So in this case, I'm going to rub out the blue mark over here so you can clearly see it. So in this case, the length would just be this part right here of your cylinder. And for this example, the length would always be 6, right? Because no matter where your rectangle is, the cylinder will still remain 6 meters. So in that case, the length is always 6. Now the width is the challenging part. How do you go about finding the width? So in the center, the width would just be the radius multiplied. So the width would just be the diameter. So that's 4. So radius would just be 2 then. But over time, as it decreases, you can see that the width actually decreases, right? It's not 2 anymore. It's not in the center anymore. So how would we go about doing that? Well, and to find the width, I'll enlarge this circle so you can see how to find the width in terms of x, okay? So we want everything to be in terms of x. So that is, I guess, more like a potato, but close enough to a circle. Okay, we know the radius is always 2 from the center. So this is our center, the radius is always 2. I'm going to find the width, okay? So let's take this as our width at any time. So this center over here, we'll cut it halfway. So that means your width would just be cut in half. So make sure to multiply by 2. But for now, your x, what is your x? Where's x? X is right here, that's the depth, right? So let's imagine this is our depth. This is how high the water is in the tank. And the radius over here would be 2. So that means the leftover would be 2 minus x, right? So from the center up until the height of the water, that would be 2 minus x. And then we know the radius here is 2. So from there, we get 2. And you get a 90-degree triangle to help you find this length right here. Multiply that length by 2 and you get your width, okay? Can we see that? So this is the length that we need. I'll call that half over w. So this part is w over 2. That's what we need, okay? So we just need to find w over 2 in terms of x. Now what is that equals to? W over 2. We use our Pythagoras. So we square root c squared minus a squared. So that's 4 minus 2 minus x squared, okay? So we get square root 4 minus 4, actually I'll put a bracket, so that's 4 minus 4x plus x squared, and then we expand the bracket, 4 minus 4 cancels out, so right there, and then we get square root of negative over negative 4x, that's 4x, and then minus x squared, okay? So that's w over 2, so that means W equals to 2 multiplied by 4x minus x squared. So in that case, the area is 6 multiplied by 2 square root 4x minus x squared. So if I was to rewrite dx dt again, so dx dt, what is that equals to? That is negative 0.025, which if you were to simplify it, it comes down to, I guess, 25 over 1,000, which is 1 over 40. So negative 1 over 40 multiplied by root x, so root x right here, and then divide or multiply by 1 over a, right? What is 1 over a? That is 6, well, I guess that's 6 times 2, which is 12, square root 4x minus x squared, and I'm going to group them together. So in this case, we have negative 1 times by root x times 1, that is negative root x. Divide everything by 40 multiplied by 12, which is 480, and you can actually simplify. So it's a pretty good trick here, because you can take out the x. X is a common term for these two terms. You can factorize x out, and you'll get square root x multiplied by 4 minus x, and you can split the square roots apart. And the reason why we do that, later on you'll see very soon, we take out the root x and we get root 4 minus x, and this square root and that square root cancels out, and you're left with negative 1 over 480 multiplied by square root 4 minus x, and that is what dx dt is equals to. Okay, so that is how you do part A of this question. Hopefully you guys found it useful. If you want to do part B, really, it's all about anti-deriving this. You know, just use your calculator. You can do it by hand too. Same thing with C, but this is it for part A. Hopefully you guys found this useful, and if you did, please leave a thumbs up, as that will help support this channel a lot. Aside from that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.